Welcome back, Juventinità, to the Juventinità, back to Black and White Podcast. My name is Daniel Anigro, and we're live from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And today we're going to be going over the preview for Juve-Atalanta, which is going to be a big game tomorrow. Another big test. We've seen Juve, not succeed very often with these tougher tests. So again, we need to add to the resume, as they would say in college football or college basketball, going into March Madness or the playoffs. Juve's got to prove some points. I think previous games we haven't looked against bigger teams. I would say we haven't looked great, barring Barcelona. And again, all our wins are teams that we should be beating handily, anyways. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. We have a returning guest. We finally made it work. It seems like I was always having this guy on, and then I was forgetting or something or falling, and then inviting others on, and I'm like, oh shit, I forgot him. But another fellow Canadian, obviously from Laval, Quebec, Luca, @real_Juve snob. Welcome to the show, buddy.
It is always a pleasure to join you, my friend. Like I tell everybody, whether it's a podcast or a video or even just a conversation that's not even recorded, it's always an honor, always a pleasure. And, we get to talk about the sport we love and the team we love. Why not?
For sure. And there's a lot to talk about. That's for sure. I mean, it's never a dull moment with this club. It's never too early to hate this club. I know someone was saying, they're like, does anyone else love to hate this team? And I'm like, what is it? This your first time?
I saw that one too. I was like, yeah, first time, buddy.
First time. It's like, fucking, this is my life.
This is an everyday weekend thing, like wake up on Sunday. It's like, let's do it again. Why not?
So I haven't had you on for a while, and I like to kind of refresh everybody and kind of see how they're feeling. So far in this season, how are you feeling about Juve, the way we're playing, tactics, Pirlo, the whole shebang? If you can kind of wrap it up with a nice bow on it.
Well, I guess the only way I could say it concisely without going into like an hour review,
an hour rant.
Yeah, because obviously it's been built up and I haven't been able to, blow it out anywhere. But at the moment, I'm content,
Okay.
But this is today before Atalanta,
right?
After playing Genoa. If you would have asked me maybe 2 weeks ago, it would have been different. If you asked me maybe 2 weeks from now, it might be different.
Right.
But I think we all had low expectations as soon as we heard the news of, Andrea being our coach. And nothing against the man. I'm an absolute fan, but, everyone has their thoughts and their different opinions, and I value them all. But I didn't expect too much because since they said, okay, Sadi's gone, I'm like, okay, we're starting from scratch again. No matter who you bring in, it could have been Allegri for all I cared. You're still going to start from scratch. Oh. Not that I wanted it, but I'm saying like you're bringing someone even that we knew, it still be starting from scratch because it's not the same team. So, in terms of just looking at Serie A, I'm content. We're up there. The fight is far from over, and knowing our club and how we are, it's going to be ugly. It's going to be gritty, but whatever happens, and I'm okay with knowing that at least we're putting up a fight, and it's not either a landslide and it's not like a complete shit show. At least it's interesting.
Fair point.
In regards to Champions League, obviously we know where we stand at the moment. Completely happy with it. Very content with the 3-0 win against Barca, putting us top of the table. So I'll take that. So in general, I'm happy. It's exciting football, and I've discussed this many times with different people. Maybe with those with you, I don't know, but maybe you've seen me say it. The season's exciting again. Like as a Calcio fan before Juventus fan, to see, if you look at the top 5 leagues in Europe right now, the leaders are like no one you would expect.
Right.
So it's exciting as an actual soccer fan. But again, as a Juve fan, it's it's got its weekend. It's on and off, right?
Right.
But I guess my thoughts would be I'm content. It's a week by week thing. It changes. Obviously, I'm emotional like that. But considering Juve has a coach, considering it's Juve and we have a new coach and we have a lot of new players, I'm kind of happy. I can't complain.
For sure. And I think with COVID, I think it's kind of leveled the playing field. You look at La Liga, like you said, Atletico Madrid up top. It's been tough for Barcelona to find consistency with all the problems they've had, at least financially and as an organization. Then Real Madrid, I think they're starting to kind of heat up a little bit to get what they're showing against Atletico. But yeah, same with the other league. I mean, you got Lille in the mix in France. Um, Ajax maybe not doing as well after so long. You look at the Premier League, same thing. Yeah, some new faces after a while of two teams really going at it for the past 2 years with Liverpool and Man City. So yeah, I would say it's good for us. I would say because, and I've always gone back to this too. We needed that competition because we almost need a kick in the ass sometimes. And I find this fine. People didn't want that. They're like, no, we wanted a landslide. No. You need a competitive league. You need some tests before you go into the Champions League. You don't want to just go in there playing nobodies and then all of a sudden get surprised when you're like, well, why didn't we play good against a good team? It's like, well, you have no competition. So,
and if you can sum that up in one team, which is it? Because I'm thinking, and I think you might be able to say it. Like, what team has an easy time in the league and then shits the bed in Champions League?
well, well, in the league,
Come on, Dan. You
like
know
Man
it.
City.
Nah, man. Come on. The Prem is actually intense. What's a farmers league?
Well, PSG, obviously.
Voila.
Well,
Thank you, sir.
PSG, obviously. But yeah, that's right. That was the second one. No, but I mean, Man City's had it pretty, for the most part, I would say they walk in Premier League. Actually, this is probably their first year they're actually doing, like, they're actually struggling.
They're like the Manchester United of the league.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of weird seeing that. And then usually they go into, they're like, oh yeah, they're the favorites. And then they choke to Lyon after we do.
Well, I mean, look, I had this discussion today with a guy at work, and it's like, he's like, you've got a great team, you know, and you've got a great coach, but something's not adding up. I don't know if it's, as Chiellini would say, it's in the history of Man City. I hear him saying it, but like, I don't think it applies. I don't know if it applies to City in that sense, but like, who knows? Maybe you could say the same about us right now. We're not.
Well, exactly. I was gonna say that can get flipped on us so easily.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyways, thanks for your thoughts, obviously, on everything. That's perfect. I think in my head, I planned this going a certain way. I think I'm gonna flip it around. We're gonna get into the Dybala stuff in a sec. Just to quickly talk about some stuff about the actual game tomorrow. Possible rest for Alexandro. Ramsey a favorite. Some people were asking in the Forza Juventus EN group, what about Demiral? Chiellini and Demiral slowly recovering. So hopefully to have them available in the next few days. I don't know if they're slowly recovering. How does that mean in the next few days? But apparently that came out of Pirlo's mouth. Let's not take these guys off the bench until we really need. I mean, okay, Shaw, if something really goes down where we start dropping defenders, you might have to bring them back early, but if there's no need, do not. And even if you have a chance of using Danilo and maybe like Frabotta or something, like I would rather go that route than putting these guys in again and risking injury, because it seems like we're re-aggravating stuff because we're coming back way too quick. Alejandro Gomez supposed to be in the squad. Papu apparently is going to be in the squad. That sounds weird just from hearing all the stuff, and I don't know if it's true or not. Josip Ilicic is out of the squad with illness. So when we'll list a couple others in the match facts to come. But what are your thoughts on that whole Atalanta? I almost thought it was fake because you had that Siavush there was the one who reported, or I saw his thread of it or something. And then I'm like, yeah, no, that can't be true. It's from a Merda fan. He's trying to work something to get some tweets, some clicks. So I don't know. It was something that I maybe didn't really pay attention to, but yeah, I guess they're at ends now after all these years. Like, what the hell?
He must have insulted his wife or something. I don't know. For it to happen that quickly, man, I don't know.
It's the weirdest part of seeing like all these talks, and he quit and then he didn't quit and then he was asked to come back. Like I don't know. It's weird. It's such a weird story.
What can you believe? That's the question. You can only take everything like a grain of salt, because again, it's not.
you look to the story we're gonna get to, and probably I think right now it's no, we'll talk about the Champions League first. But people coming out with contracts, this, that, Agresti come making stuff up. Fabrizio Romano with stuff. I don't know. It's tough to believe anymore what people are saying, who's reporting. Even in the whole Dybala situation. But again, let's get to Porto first. Obviously, I did my live stream, and that was very successful. Thank you guys for showing up. For whoever, I mean, it was early. I was fucking tired, and you could probably tell in the video. But we did it anyways, 3:30, and then YouTube decides to die, and I actually got through everything, and I was actually going to close it, and then it just stalled right at that point. I'm like, why can't I end the broadcast for like a whole day? It said the broadcast was live and wouldn't shut down. But then finally they got their shit together. But no, it was fine actually for the majority of it. Didn't have any problems at all. So we'll probably have a lot more of those in the future. But again, with Champions League, we pick up Porto. I think these draws were pretty even, barring Barcelona, PSG.
Yep.
So no real like big clashes or anything like that, barring one, I would say. Maybe if you want to say Lazio, Bayern, but again, there's two clear teams. Or if you want to say maybe even Dortmund, Sevilla, that's maybe a little bit more even. They have both European pedigrees. But again, what are your thoughts on Porto?
Look.
Is that who you wanted? Obviously,
look from the list that we had as options. It's obviously, I think, one of the better ones.
Right.
I'm not mad about it. Like, I'm content. I'm like, okay. I'm like, oh, okay, it's not that bad initially. But then again, as a Juve fan, as a realistic soccer fan, knowing how European nights are, it's like, okay, this could go very easily sideways, backwards. And so I'm grateful going into it. My mindset is like, okay, we should have this. But then again, my mindset has been like that for so many years in Europe. So it's like, and I've been disappointed a couple of times. So, so I'm taking it lightly, but considering who we could have drawn and the fact that we could have finished second and gotten even worse, like if we were in Barca's spot right now, it would be a different ball game.
Right.
So you know what? I'll take it. I'm content with it, and I'm interested to see how the squad shapes up for the first round, for sure.
Yeah, especially when you see as the first draw, Man City and Borussia Mönchengladbach going off the board right away. You're just like, oh, here we go. We're gonna get Atletico, and then Juve kept slipping, and I'm like, oh god, this is. But we got Porto, so thankfully, the balls were warm, and apparently some stats with Porto. Obviously, we've never lost in 5 previous European fixtures. One being the Cup Winners' Cup final, 2-1 win in 1984. We also played them in 2001 over 2 legs, with Juve winning 3-1. First leg was 0-0 on the road in Portugal. Seems very fitting. And then obviously because just such a tough place to play in Portugal. That's the thing. I mean, maybe we're lucky we don't have to deal with any fans. Well, I guess there's still a little time for that, but it's not looking like fans are going to be able to come back. And then again in 2017 when we faced them in the round of 16 as well. 2-0 to Juve and 1-0. That was obviously on the road, and then 1-0 at home. And an easy 3-0 en route to, I believe, what was that? The Real Madrid debacle?
2016, I think that's when we made. That wasn't
17, 18? Or no, was it 16, 17? No, if that was 16, 17, then that's when we made the finals.
I was going to say that's Cardiff here. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So then, that was en route to playing Barca and then playing Monaco.
Yeah, I think it was then.
So again, I think that was the year though. Wasn't it the year that we didn't really feel good, and then it wasn't great, and then we went on to beat Porto, and everyone was kind of like, okay, and then we got Barcelona, and then we smacked them, and then everyone started to believe.
I'm not even sure. You know what? I get
too many years.
When they're too close.
Yeah.
When there's like 5 years apart, I know the difference.
Yeah, it's too close now. It's too
Yeah.
close to. I know who we played that year though, but now I'm saying that being in 17, because 17 obviously would have been the
I
second.
remember it was Piazza who scored.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Piazza
I do
and
remember. Yeah, in the third jersey with the zebra. Yes, no, I see
exactly,
it now. I see it now.
exactly,
Okay.
exactly. But yeah, no, that should be an interesting tie. Like I said, no fans, so you won't have to worry about the atmosphere there. But again, with Portuguese, and I think I'm gonna have Rui on because he's a Porto fan. So from Red
Oof.
Card Report, so that'll be
Yeah,
fun.
that'd be interesting.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, we'll see what happens. Hopefully, we can, we can't play down to teams, and as soon as Juve does that, then things go sideways.
Yep.
So again, let's see what happens in where's my dates? Here they are. Obviously, February 17th at Porto and March 9th at home in Juventus Stadium. It's weird how they put them so far apart. And then they
It's weird, right?
and then
The
they
schedule's a mess.
and then they compact games towards the end. But anyways, I won't get into UEFA's
This year, yeah, this year's a mess. Just the fact that we have a Serie A game tomorrow on a
yeah.
Wednesday. What the fuck's going on? You know? Like they got.
Well, I mean, we're handcuffed with the Euros, right? Like they have nowhere to move, right? If they didn't move it, then maybe you could have said, okay, take a little bit longer, because the year after is going to be, or like the next couple years are going to be fucked up too because of the World Cup.
Everything's a mess. Trust me. When
So
I tell
it's
you,
going to be a
everything's
mess for like 6-7 years.
yeah, until they figure. Like they're gonna have. I think they might even have to count, like put 2 events maybe in the same year just to try to figure things out, because
Yeah.
like it won't be the bigger ones, but like you'll see maybe like the Women's World Cup at the same time as like the Olympics. They're gonna
Yeah.
have to make it work somewhere, because if you keep pushing,
It's going to be crazy. It's
yeah, it's a
going to
mess.
be crazy. And yeah, hopefully we can resolve it and everything go back together soon. I know the vaccines are out, but again, if you want to take it,
Yeah,
if you
exactly.
want to take it,
Have faith in the system.
yeah, exactly,
It's it's a risk at your own expense. How about that?
exactly.
Yeah.
So obviously some transfer stuff. We started with Pogba, Dybala. I guess that would have been in view of Barcelona when all of this started. So I guess when Champions League comes around, now that's also bringing up the big rumors. Or when Mino Raiola starts talking. So obviously could leave in January, maybe with a loan plus buy option to deal. That's been thrown around. Dybala swap. Not possible in January. It happening in June in the summer. I don't know what to believe in this bullshit anymore. I don't really care. I hope. I said it in one of my tweets. I'm pretty sure Madrid's gonna rock up on like the last day and just be like, "Oh, we're signing him," and then all the Juve fans are gonna freak out after like telling us he's not leaving, and then all of a sudden, oh, we have a deal. So it's gonna be the reverse thinking that he's going to be coming, and actually not at all. But that kind of started a shitstorm of things to come. So we get Dybala back in the game against Genoa. He goes off. Obviously, could have had 2, but goes to the press conferences after. I believe it was with Sky, and obviously, I love Juventus. Always wanted to stay. Very loyal to the club. Some people say untrue things about my contract renewal. Figures to turn people against me. Nobody called my agent to talk about a new deal. People trust me. The whole 9 yards. We all heard that. Now we have the prestigious, I want to say, the prestigious Tutto Sport Awards.
When I read that, I'm like, am I reading this right? I wasn't sure.
Everyone is like, oh, look, we won Golden Boy. I'm like, dude, like literally, it's run by an Italian newspaper now. Like, if you think that's, I'm like, how many bills are slipped to give Agnelli the best owner award? Like, honestly, but
don't say anything you don't want to regret. Watch it. They're gonna show up at your door next week, man.
Bro, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise. But anyways, so we go there. Obviously, Agnelli wins the best president, or the best president award for the Golden Boy. Fitting, Mino Raiola also wins the best agent award.
Disturbing.
But anyways, So now he gets, obviously Agnelli gets asked a whole bunch of questions. And instead of going, look, we have contract discussions. I don't want to discuss it. That's between us and the player, blah, 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 because, that's what an actual smart, dirigente and, presidente would say. He goes and says the following. Let me get this right here. I heard Dybala's statements with great pleasure. His love for Juve is reciprocated. Sorry, this was after, but we see him as the next captain. So take this as after of what I'm going to say. I understand Dybala has already received an offer that puts him in the top 20 of highest paid players in Europe, and he knows that. We calmly wait for his response. His ambition is to go in the top 5. He's not there now, and he knows it. He also mentioned that there was contact about a new deal. There was a new deal, and that was already given to him to contradict basically what Dybala's saying. Now, in my opinion, what I saw from Dybala was just an act of faith, saying he loved the club. He just wanted to. He wasn't really trying to stir anything up. He was just saying, I really enjoy being here. I know there's been a lot of talk about the contract, and then we got Agnelli going, oh, he wants to meet. We put an offer in as a top 20 player. He didn't accept it. Blah 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 blah. This. And then also it's like a double, as backhanded compliment, and goes, oh, we love to hear that he wants it, and we see him as the next captain. Anyways, what are your thoughts after, hearing that? Because now we know that Dybala's entourage comes back and saying, well, the offer that he was talking about was presented last June, but it didn't satisfy the demands. And also, what else did I say? Did I do that twice? Hold on. He was obviously recently in Turin, and there was no contacts. And he's ready to meet with Juve. Again, what are your thoughts on hearing all that, Luca? Well, after all these things were going around, and retweets and opinions, and again, it seemed like everyone was posting a figure that could. What the contract was, what the first offer was, this, that, and the other thing. So give me your thoughts entirely on this whole jamboree of fun.
Jamboree of fun. That's a good way of describing it. Truthfully, I look. There's so many, as you said. There's so much information coming in, coming out,
and I don't even have all of it. Like I said, guy, I tried to compose this, and I'm gonna have to possibly do a separate episode and actually go over what everybody's been saying. But there's literally been hundreds of different figures getting what was offered, new contract, old contract, offer came in, didn't come in. But anyways, go ahead, Luca. Just to say it's been crazy.
It has been crazy, but the way I see it, Dan, is that this is your typical, and I voiced this already, so people that actually see my tweets will know this. I see it as a typical, okay, I'm not going to say, top, world-class player, but, a relatively talented player in a young age, typical situation, contract issues or contract negotiations with a big club. It's always like this. Whether it's, someone at Madrid or someone at PSG or, someone maybe at Dortmund, the same issue will always happen. It'll be a back and forth between him, his agent, and the club. And I think in the end, it's normal, to see them both saying these things that contradict. So who do we believe? I say try to take the middle ground of both. He probably did get an offer. Knowing Juventus, they probably lowballed the shit out of it. Maybe give him 8 mil a year, just here, take Khedira's salary and be happy with it. Which, if you look at a business perspective, makes sense. You always start a lowball, especially negotiation. But I think, this is what I said to my followers and to anyone that, actually looks at my tweets. I think in the end, whatever happens, I think will be... I think it'll be more on Agnelli, because I think Dybala knows basically what his worth is. And if Agnelli is not willing to, offer it to someone young and actually talented, I think that's on him. And if he thinks that, maybe we could do better and move on, he'll do it. Not that I want to see it happen, but I think someone of Dybala's age, of Dybala's talent, you should focus on him. And I'm going to maybe get some heat. You might get some heat because of me saying this, but the kid's young. Well, he's young. He's still relatively in his prime, and he's got potential. So why not focus on him, you know? A lot of people are going to go off and say, you know, focus on Ronaldo, focus on, Ronaldo's the number one focus, right? But let's be honest, between you and I, as soccer fans, as Juve fans, Ronaldo can adapt. He's a goal scoring machine no matter where you put him. Whether he gets 30 or 50, that's your question, right? But if he's getting 30 and Dybala's getting 20, what's the difference? You know, if Dybala gets 0 and Ronaldo gets 50 at the end, you're still getting 50, but it's balanced. So I think I'm hoping honestly that at the end of this they figure it out. They come down to some agreement.
Right.
But I think knowing Juventus and knowing how we do things, it'll be like a shit show until it does happen, or it'll magically just happen one morning and everyone's gonna be like, "Oh,
exactly."
Okay. You know
what it'll be like after like a 3-0 loss or something, just shocking performance. It'll be like, here's the Dybala contract, just to appease everybody, just to change the story. Yeah. I think I've already taken heat for just the way I've reacted to this. So you don't have to worry about that, Luca. I get enough heat as it is. But look, I mean, I'm not going to get into my full opinion, but I'll just say this. And I think I was kind of, hinting at where I was going with how I said the news. And look, if this is Paratici, that's fine. That's the direct, as someone told me, Agnelli isn't dealing with the contracts. Okay. Well, then why is he commenting on a player? You're the president of the club. You're the head of the club. You shouldn't be escalating or you know what I mean? At minimum, you should be de-escalating the situation. And you come out where a player is like, I really want to be here. I'm really enjoying it. I'm doing well with Pirlo. And then all of a sudden you're like, no, he's lying. We actually did give him an offer. Everything that was said was true, essentially. Really? You just want to open up the can of worms? So that's why I think it's ego with this guy. Honestly, I've changed my opinion. Look, I have total respect for what he's done in the past. But I've changed my opinion with Agnelli. This guy is an ego hunter like you would not believe. And there's no reason for you to open up a can of worms when, like I said, when he's obviously scoring again, things seem to be going around the corner. Now, what's the next question he's going to hit? Oh, so why is your president saying that basically there was an offer and that you guys were full of shit? That's the next thing. So this thing gets prolonged, and we're going to have to hear about it for now the next months and months and months, because something wasn't put to bed saying, okay, this is the time frame. We know when his contract ends. We're going to figure something out. That's between us and the player. Again, if this is something Paratici wants to come out or whatever, that's fine. He's the guy that's signing these players. So to me, it doesn't make any sense for a president to be doing that. And to me, it's just, it's ridiculous. It's like, you kind of struggling getting back at work, and then all of a sudden your boss is like, well, he's, we're in contract talks, and, to go into the media to a player. I mean, you look at what's happened, that's usually chaos, that's a chaos between two parties. So again, is he hinting that at the end of the day, it's not going to happen? I don't know, maybe. But then why say he's going to be the captain? We'd love to see, like that's just the inconsistency, but that's always Juve, that's always. So I wasn't really surprised. I just thought it was really foolish and really stupid really to come out and say that, especially when you're going to get teams that are going to jump on that as well. So we now teams out there know, as I'm sure they already did, because they've heard this marathon for a year and a half. And again, you just keep devaluing the guy. Every time you move towards saying we want to get rid of this guy, or maybe we're not going to sign the contract, teams are just rubbing their hands, going, "Yep, there's another $5 million off the price," because we know he's not going to sign, so they're going to have to sell him. And if it gets too late, well, then they're going to start taking lower and lower. That's the typical Juve. That's the easy mistakes that we make. And everyone's like, well, why are we so, well, it's just easy shit like that we don't do. We don't know how to sell players. I mean, look, I mean, everybody will tell you that. We needed a Pjanic Artur swap just to save our bacon. And I mean, sure, it's worked out, but if we didn't have Barcelona in their own throws, who knows if that would have even happened, to be honest.
Yeah, no, that's true.
But we'll see what happens, guys. I don't know. I don't know with all the stuff going out, Pogba, different moves. We're hearing like there's a guy from Porto, Vieira, who's been linked. Dele Alli was just linked with a swap. Like, this is what I got to hear on a daily basis, and they wonder why I get pissed off all the time. It's like, why waste your breath? Like, again, that just shows you what the game's all about. But anyways, we'll talk about an interesting actually comment that Bonucci made, because if you do remember correctly, he was in the stands against Porto.
I remember that. Yeah.
So he did say, with Juve Porto, my career had the extraordinary and rare opportunity to take a step forward. 1,391 days have passed since that match. I'm like, I don't know if that was the quote, but I'm like, damn, if you got that number down to a figure, like, that's like, you've really thought about that game. But days that have taught me how important it is for a player to be able to put aside personal ego for the good of the team. I want to make the most of it with motivation, passion, and love for the shirt I wear. So just an interesting comment, but I was like, damn, man, that must have really bothered you. 1,391 days, eh?
I'm surprised they didn't put the hours and the minutes in there too. That would have been like,
yeah. So obviously I didn't hear the interview, but I mean, maybe the journalist tossed that to him or something. That's the only thing maybe I can think of. But
jeez.
Yeah, weird. That's an interesting quote. But let's get into the match facts, guys. Obviously at J Stadium tomorrow, December 16th, 6:30 p.m. CEST, 10:30 a.m. Mountain, 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Eastern. I don't know why they put it on the 10:30. Serie A.
Yep.
But yeah, I guess they want that extra 30 minutes so people can get out of work or something. I don't know.
Take my lunch break.
Well, yeah, exactly, right? It's
Jeez.
like they have games at 10 a.m. and what is it, 10 and 1, I think? Or 10 and 12:45. So, yeah, okay, sure. We're the only game, we're the feature match at 10:30.
We're the only one tomorrow. It's like at that time. It's weird.
Yeah. So, anyways, let's get into our records. 6-5-0, 23 points in fourth place. Atalanta's at 5-2-3 with 17 points. Not too far off the pack in ninth. But a little bit lower than, where I at least thought they would be this season. Did you think Atalanta was going to be in the top four at your beginning, or did you expect a drop off, obviously having European football again? And, again, it's tough, right?
No, 100%. I did not expect it. I don't think anybody expected it. I think after their performance last year, I think everybody expected them to at least not only perform at where they were, but to at least exceed that. But
right.
As my friend that, like cleverly told me, while everyone else actually did something in the transfer window, they didn't do anything. It's not like they had much to worry about, but like in terms of their team was still good. They still had the same great players and great chemistry, but the profits you made from the Champions League, why don't you put that into maybe signing 1-2 players, obviously they got what's his name from us in defense, Romero. There we go. That was a loan, or it was a loan?
I believe it's a loan. Yeah.
Because
we can't sell, like I said, so it's got to be a loan.
It's got to be a loan. That's what I figured. It was a sale or a loan. I wasn't sure, but
no, we sold what's his name? We sold that youth product. That's who you're thinking of.
Oh yes, you're right. Shit. Anyways, name's slipping my mind, but
me too.
aside Romero, like they didn't really make any big moves in the market, which they should have, because look at the profit they made. They probably made enough to cover their wage bills for a year in a matter of just getting out of the group stage. So
yeah, exactly.
I was surprised because they had a great start to the season, and you saw it. They were banging in 5 goals a game again, and I was like, oh shit, here we go again. But there was a point, I think it was once they started the Champions League, and it's just like it just went down at one point. They just got ruined by Napoli that first. I think it was Napoli.
Yeah.
they got ruined that one game. It was like
4-1, I think it was.
Yeah, and it was like, okay, guys,
4-1 or 4-0, something like that.
Yeah, and right after that, it's been downhill. It's been up and down. I mean, they had some. Look, they got through the group stage, and they're doing okay now. But
now Real.
God,
and Real on the up, not Real at the beginning of the season. Real that's won against Atletico Madrid.
Exactly. But
talk about a break.
It definitely won't be an easy game tomorrow, though. That's for sure. I don't think it's going to be, like you said, it's going to be one of those games where we're going to actually have to earn the 3 points. It's not going to be.
I think it's going to be a sneaky game. I think it's going to be a sneaky. We think we're better than we are kind of game, and we've had those. Well, look, I mean, we'll get into some last few games. Like we've had that before. We're not unfamiliar with that, is what I'm trying to say. But again, look, they got through the group. Good for them. But this just proves, like, when you have extra games, like what Juve's done. Again, I would say, albeit the league was weaker than what it should have been over a run of 9, but it's tough to win and win consecutively. I'm talking about the Scudetto when you have to play that extra midweek for how long we've had to do it some years, all the way up to the final. So look, Atalanta team, okay, like you said, doesn't have our budget, didn't make as many signings. They're struggling, and they have that midweek Wednesday, Tuesday night game. So it's a lot of extra work. That's what teams don't understand. You look at the teams like Merda, and I'm sure Milan will look, and they're going to come into the same. They could even in the past few years, they could barely stand in the Europa League on a Thursday night, and that's almost worse because you're so much closer to the weekend. So look, it just proves it ain't easy. So you got to come up with a lot more than just talk and thinking you can win the Scudetto, especially when you're in Europe. So again, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I think it's going to be a sneaky fixture. Top scorer for us, obviously, Ronaldo in Serie A, Papu Gomez and Muriel on 4 goals each for Atalanta. But they have a lot of balanced scoring. There's a lot of other players that have at least a couple goals to their name. The form for Atalanta, win, draw, 2 draws, a loss, and a win. For them, for us, draw, win, draw, double, back-to-back wins, actually, for the first time in all season, I would say.
Jeez. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy to hear that stat. But yeah, I mean, hey, have we deserved to win 2 games in a row? I don't think so. We've had a lot of shambolic performances that again we out talent and can come up with draws. And I mean, sure, you could say you need those for winning the Scudetto. That makes a difference. Yeah, it does. But look, if you don't out talent, and eventually the luck, the rub of the green is gonna run out. I'm telling you, like, it's slowly, as these few years have been going, like, it's been getting less and less. Surely the club can see that. Chiellini, Demiral out for us, obviously. Like I said before, Ilicic as well as Pasalic and Caldara will be out for Atalanta. But again, like I hinted to, the past few games. Let's go back to January 30th, 2019. If you all remember that one greatly, we got shut out on the road 3-0.
Oh, 2-3, yeah.
Zapata had 2 goals, and then I can't remember who the other one was, but he scored the first 2, and we looked awful. And that was in Ronaldo's first season, if you remember correctly. 3-0, drubbing. And I don't know if I want to say that was the beginning of the end for Allegri, but that one definitely didn't help his it did not help his, and I want to say that might have been right before Champions League too, if I remember correctly.
Knowing how Atalanta was,
and then we come out with like an Atletico. I want to say there was something. I wouldn't be surprised,
like, because I know 2 seasons ago, like, Atalanta wasn't the team they were last season, so it wasn't like we're going in with our full best 11. No, we went in with like maybe or some subs in there. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Great.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was like a midweek game against Atletico. I really wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, for sure. And then obviously the last, I want to say that it would have probably been the last game or close to the last game. 1-1 with Atalanta, draw in that same season. So we did not win at all against Atalanta in 2018, 2019. Ilicic and Mandzukic share the goals. Then we obviously get into the COVID year, as I'm going to call it. November 23rd, we play Atalanta, winning 3-1. Gosens opens up the scoring. Doppietta, Higuain, and Dybala to finish them off.
That was a brutal game, though. I remember
was.
that very well. It was. I did not expect to win that game.
No, because I think we looked like shit at the
We
beginning of
looked
that game.
terrible. Yeah, we looked
And then
really
we
bad.
barely saved our ass. I think Dybala scored like in the last minute, if I
Yeah.
remember, before I put it in. But yeah, it did not look good at all. And then obviously the next game we played them in that same season didn't happen until July 11th, 2020. Zapata opens the scoring. CR7 obviously ties. And then we're like, okay, well, we're probably going to share this. Malinovsky then scores a cracker, if I might add.
Yeah, that was a nice goal. I remember it.
And then Ronaldo saves the 1 point with his goal. But yeah, the last few years have been interesting to say. So again, expect an interesting game tomorrow. I mean, who knows? Maybe this could just break the trend completely and just be like Atalanta's kind of like not really functioning, and we just kind of blow them out. But again, I don't see that happening, to be honest. Just the way we've been playing. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, no, the odds. As much as we'd all love to see it, the odds are against us on that one. Like, it's not going to be a 3-0 washout. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We're not gonna slap Atalanta 3-0 tomorrow. And if we do,
I'll be shocked. Yeah, I'll be shocked.
Yeah, we gotta like do a little pod on the side just to apologize for this.
For sure. So let's kind of see who's going to be playing, obviously, tomorrow. Like I said, there's been some talk. Some people have been saying Alexandro might get rest. He might not. I'm thinking it's going to be 4-4-2, 3-4-1-2 split, obviously in possession, defensive formation. Danilo, Bonucci, De Ligt, Cuadrado, Chiesa, Rabiot, McKennie, Ramsey, and Ronaldo and Morata coming back into the lineup. Let's see, does Sky have anything a little bit different? No. Let's see. What about DiMarzio? So yeah, he said Danilo or Alexandro and Ramsey or Chiesa. And actually having Kulusevski in the lineup. So that's what DiMarzio is putting out. So DiMarzio saying Kulusevski on the right and either Chiesa or Ramsey on the left. And okay, so a little bit different. I mean, again, take it with a grain of. I think Sky's been wrong like every freaking game this season. I don't know if anyone wants to fact check that and like post that in the comments. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
I don't particularly have the time to do that, but yeah, I'm pretty sure they're wrong every week.
It hasn't been very good for them, I can tell you that. Like, there's always something. Like, I remember, was it a week ago or 2 weeks ago, they had Demiral playing as a right wing, and we're just like, as a right wing back, we're like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
No, they had Demiral as like a right back, and then they had what's his name? Who was it? I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Well, instead of Cuadrado, no, wait.
Yes, it was. It was Cuadrado. It was like Cuadrado. Like, it was the weirdest shit too.
Yeah, like they had the spots switched up, but you know what?
We know exactly kind of how we're gonna play.
Look, we know the formation is gonna stay the same. If Pirlo changes that all of a sudden, it's news to everybody.
What's going on?
Yeah. What I could bet my money on if I was a betting man, Arturo didn't play against Genoa, so I see him starting because of that.
Yes, I said Rabiot. I do see Arturo, in the Sky Sports. I did.
Yeah, no, Arturo for me is starting because he didn't play that game.
Right.
I'm surprised he didn't come in as a sub, but either way, whether Pirlo goes with a 3-man midfield again, pushing McKennie up, we don't know. But if Dybala is not starting, that means Kulusevski might. But like what I prefer and what I think will happen are two different things.
Right.
But I definitely think and prefer Arturo to start because I think the rest, plus he deserves it, et cetera, et cetera. That's the only one I could bet on for sure.
And if McKennie is going to start, I would like to see him with Arturo. I don't know if we've seen that yet.
I Starting and just them two as the pivots, we have not seen. But
So yeah,
them,
so I want to see that.
that'd
How
be
that works
beautiful.
out.
I'm on your side for that. I'd like to see it, and I'd like to analyze it more.
Yeah, and see if it really works from the get-go, right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
going to be good competition. And it looks like Atalanta is going to be playing in a very similar formation. It'll be close. It's going to be somewhat close, 3-4-2-1 instead of 3-4-1-2. Golini in goal, Toloi, Romero and Jimisti or Jimciti.
Jim City, yeah.
Atibor, Darun, Freuler, and Gosens as your 4. Pessina and Gomez as the 2, and Zapata up top.
That makes sense.
Again, let's see how we go up against a team that I think they'll gun with us. That's for sure.
We know that Atalanta can score goals.
Yeah.
That we know, but we can't. It's obviously they haven't had the accessibility to doing that.
Right.
I suppose last year, like they could do it, but they need, first of all, to get that first one, and they need a team where they're going to let them do that. So I think if we get someone like De Ligt on Zapata's ass the entire game, we should be okay.
Nullified.
Don't put Bonucci on him. That's all I ask.
Yeah.
That's
a good point.
But I mean, look, with all this talk about Gomez, I mean, there's so much you could say, but I think it'll play a mental aspect. I think maybe he won't have the best game. And I'm hoping he doesn't have the best game. As much as I love the guy, I'm hoping he, shits the bed a bit. But we'll see, because if they start scoring, forget it.
See, but look, I mean, they still have that 4. Like, that 4 really scares the shit. Like, Hatibor, Derun, Freuler, and Gosens.
It's scary.
Like, that's pretty nasty.
I know, right? Oh.
And then you don't even have to, like, that's not even bringing into the fact you have Zapata up top who bangs goals in for fun.
Or Gomez behind them. Just
exactly.
Like, oh.
So,
but they haven't been great. You've seen it. We've all seen it. They haven't been too great.
Again, and that almost, it points to, what everybody's been talking about this locker room bust up. And I mean, that can change things. I mean, look at Cardiff. I mean, sorry to bring that up, but
no, 100%. I would have said the same thing. It's the same situation. It's that all over again. Yeah.
So obviously we've already talked about some of the keys to the match. I think we don't want to underestimate their turmoil. But as long as we bring that energy from the get-go and kind of press them and not let them do what they want, I think we can definitely cause some damage. But this crossing, I want to talk about this quickly before we make our predictions. What are we doing with this crossing? Like, it's turning into a Allegri. Like, Genoa pissed me the hell off. I had trouble enough rewatching that game because it was just so mind-boggling how Pirlo keeps going to this. And look, it seems at times where McKennie and Rabiot get too far out of place, that Bentancur is on one side of like a cloud of opponents, and you have everyone almost in like a line. It doesn't happen all the time, but I find when we do try and, and then it's either long balls or, trying to pass it around the back and, refresh the ball, recirculate the ball. But what are your thoughts? Like, are you like, it seems like we've needed, these perfect crosses and then to win games almost in a sense. You look at some of the praise that Cuadrado's got for getting his assists. Well, that was like after 20 crosses. I mean, the one Morata goal was after 19 crosses. Sorry. His was the 20th. That was the assist. I think we had 25 crosses in the game against Genoa. So I'm not making this shit up, guys. You might think I'm like, oh yeah, he just wants to say Allegri's name again because he hates Allegri. No, go check the stats. There was like 20 some odd crosses. I'm pretty sure it was 25. But it just seems like we don't have the team for it at all. Like, sure, I mean, Ronaldo can go up and get balls, but how many times are we putting those perfect crosses? It just doesn't seem like a recipe for success.
You got to look at it's a numbers game, right?
Right.
And this goes back to, like you said, like the Allegri days, because I mean, if you look at our style of play back then, it was, I might say similar, but look, when you got guys like Cristiano, well, before Cristiano, either way, you still had Mandzukic, you still had guys that can get up on the ball. I mean, Higuain was, I'm not gonna say lethal in the air, but not bad. but like that. it took us somewhere, right? The problem I have is that I don't see it being a way to win in
Yeah.
Europe. Maybe in Serie A, maybe, but we're seeing it diminish a bit. The defenders are getting bigger, they're getting smarter in that sense. And although we'll get that 1 or 2 out of 25, I don't see it being the most effective way, especially when you have the likes of guys like, obviously Morata's, just as effective as maybe Ronaldo is, but you put in someone like Dybala, that's it. You're down to one guy, just Ronaldo. And if you got 2 defenders on him, that's it. He's done.
Exactly.
So I'm
or
on
you
your
need
side.
the perfect ball, right? Like it needs
Exactly.
to be perfect.
And I believe that. Like, look, the fact that McKennie scored a header in the derby, I was like, holy shit. Not that I'm questioning McKennie's abilities. I'm 100% behind the kid, but like a header from him,
Yeah, exactly.
it's like seeing Dybala score a header. It's
Well, exactly. Yeah.
it's the same
Perfect
situation.
analogy.
So I'm on your side in saying that I don't think it's the best way to go. I think with the players we have, I think we should be playing more through the lines, especially when we have playmakers like, well, might get some heat here, but guys like Ramsey, guys like Dybala, guys like Artur, who could make those through balls perfectly.
Yeah.
Why aren't we getting more of that? Like we saw a bit at the beginning of the season with Ramsey, and he was doing a great job with it.
Yeah.
But it's obviously between his injuries, his form, and the formations, it's dropped off a bit. But I'm hoping to see it again because I think that's where that's where we are more effective. When we play out wide, we look like we're going to cross, but then you slot it up top, and it's just like shit. Ramsey's got it. Okay, it's not the best situation when Ramsey's got a full line of sight because he's not the guy to ping a top corner as much as I want him to be. But like when you're watching, you're like, oh shit, this is deadly.
Yeah.
This could be it. But obviously, it's not always the case. So,
Well, just the first Dybala goal is what I mean by how we can break teams apart, just by finding the right route and the right run. I mean, you look at McKennie, just obviously even just with a header, like just dinks the ball into open space. He's off to the races, cuts
that's all it
in,
takes.
bang.
Yeah.
Like it's so simple that like we could and sure there's a comment to be made about teams that park the bus and really stack tight lines. That's fine, but there's ways to open up when you're on, like when your runs are on and your ball's like perfect. Even a tight line can be beaten by a good run. Where I find, and again, I don't want to be misunderstood because people are probably like, wow, he's thinking all crosses. I'm not talking about all crosses. I'm talking about the typical Juve crosses where it's like, okay, put the ball wide. Okay, everybody prepare. He's going to hit the ball into the middle. Okay, he did hit the ball in the middle. He missed everybody. Okay, do it again. Like, look, there's times where we've gone to, really close to the side, either side of the box, put in a low cross, sharp low cross, or cut it back. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying in terms of, your standard, what we've seen with Allegri, what he would used to do, just send balls in and try and find the perfect cross. And 95% of the time we'd be tied at that point. So either you're not losing any point, you'd gain a point because you drew the team, or you'd find the perfect ball and you'd win the game on like a 2-1 or a 1-0 or something like that. That's how it would work with Allegri. We got to get away from that because again, it doesn't work. You're going to go up against better teams who are going to find the answer. And again, Torino almost did it for how long they did. And then obviously again, the team that they have is, showed the weakness and got tired and, we broke them open. But again, if you're going to do that and the team's going to park the bus and they're going to clear everything out, and then if you have a good team like an Ajax where they'll counter your ass and then they'll screw you there. Look,
ouch.
Like I said, we've seen the damage that's done that can be done to the squad.
Yeah.
So we have all the examples in the world to know how we can get screwed over. But anyways, that's a pretty good summary of what we could see happening tomorrow. Again, I hope it's a good game. I hope we come out with effort, motivation, intensity. We don't, play down to a team that can definitely hurt us and has hurt us in the past. So again, let's get into some predictions. Luca, what do you think? What do you say?
Oh, shit.
This is documented. Recording is on. Yeah, recording's on.
You know what? Crap. I feel like as a fan and everyone watching and listening is going to be like, we expect a positive, like prediction.
Whatever, man. Honestly, I don't care. Like,
no, but like I feel like as a fan,
I had Albert on here saying Milan was going to win the season, so it is what
it
is.
No. I'm not saying I'm against that, and I feel like as a fan, I want that positive, prediction.
Head
but I don't know
versus
if
your
that's
heart
going to
kind of
happen,
thing,
right?
yeah.
So, look, if we win, I think if we have a good game, we're going to win by 1. So it's a 2-1 or a 3-2 or a 1-0. But if we lose, we're losing by 2. It's going to be like a shot. We're going to get slapped if we lose.
Be a shit show. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the two for me, and I think it's all going to depend on the starting lineup, what Pirlo decides to go with. If he, decides to just fucking throw shit at the wall and hope it sticks, like if he puts Kulu and Bernadeschi on to start, that's it.
Yeah, that's another thing. Actually, we didn't even touch on that, but like the rotation is just getting very annoying.
Well, you know what?
Like tomorrow, especially like there's no like it just I know he's trying to rest guys, but it seems like it's different every year. Like some years it's like we're using the same guys for 15 in a row. Then we're changing formations every game. It's like with Allegri, it was like, oh, we're gonna just start changing formations, and then Sarri was very typical. Okay, we're using the same guys. Like we use 4-4-3-3 for I don't know how many games in a row.
Yeah.
And now it just seems like over rotation for like we can play these guys a few games. I know you want to rest them, but we can play a similar lineup for like 2-3 games in a row.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, it's weird. Really weird. But anyways,
it's
go
weird. No, it's not, sorry to bother you, but it is weird. And I want to make this clear. As weird as it is, I'm as a fan, I'm happy and content to see that at least we have a bench where it's like, okay, this is what we can do.
I would agree.
Like if we look back, and we talked about Cardiff a lot, why not? If we look back to Cardiff, you look at our bench. What the F were you bringing onto that field? You look now and I'm like, okay, I got game changers on this bench. Sure, right now, if it was up to me, I wouldn't start guys like Kulusevski or Bernadeschi. But these guys are still talented players, and they could change if they want to. Back in the day, if you had guys like Lemina coming on the freaking field against Madrid in the in a Champions League final, it's like, I'm sorry, buddy, but I don't have faith in you. So yeah, it's and I know what you mean. Over rotation, it is scary because we don't really see a consistency, and we saw the opposite last season. But I'm not angry about it. At least this season, I can say, if this guy comes on.
That's a good point, because now we're actually seeing guys getting playing time. Like even guys that you don't need. You see Dragusin coming in on the end of the game there.
100%.
You see some young guys. So look, I'm not faulting him for that. Well, my point is we haven't found the best in us yet, even having Barcelona.
Mm-hmm.
So until you find that best, you're kind of like, well, are we kind of, I'm not saying half-assing it, but like, are we kind of like playing it out, making it work as we go kind of thing?
But now let me ask you, as a fan, in your mind, your best 11, right? Because I know I could put down my best 11, what I think would be the best.
Yeah, having everybody healthy, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, right. We could see it. We're just hoping Pirlo could see it, right?
Well, yeah, it's just, it's weird. It's just, it seems weird. I'm gonna have to wait a couple more games to really have an opinion on it, because we'll see. Obviously, we're gonna have this game, Atalanta, Parma, and then Fiorentina before the end of the year. So we'll see what happens. For me, the prediction, guys, though, I know it's been a long-winded little end to this year, but I'm gonna go 3-1. Ronaldo, Morata, Dybala is gonna come on as a sub, and you got to spread it out because my predictions have been all over the place. So hedge your bets. If you know anything, if you guys want some tips on gambling, you got to hedge your bets sometimes.
You can't just throw it all on
and
Ronaldo,
the stock market. So make sure you have a good if you're just gonna start trying to bet on the stock market, make sure you got a good hedge, make sure you got a stop loss, and make sure you don't put too much money down. That's all I gotta say.
Oh God.
gamble responsibly, ladies and gentlemen. But anyways, Luca, it's been a pleasure. I thank you for, we could finally get you on, and I could finally, get my ass together, get all my ducks in a row. But it's been a pleasure to have you on. We're definitely gonna have you on. It's not gonna be this long. I'll just say that between podcasts. But yeah, thank you for having bringing your opinions and being able to make it out tonight.
As I said at the beginning, it's more than a pleasure. And if you ever need me, I'm not far away. Just a couple provinces over.
For sure. Awesome. So guys, let's have a good game tomorrow. You know the avenues. Obviously, thanks for the 100 subs and climbing. We just got over 500 on Twitter. So we took a shellac. I mean, hey, we were the lowest out of all the 30, 32, 36 in that bracket. So we put in a fine effort. That 15% who voted for me, thank you guys so much. The rest that didn't vote for me, no, I'm just kidding, guys. Obviously, look, we went up against an account that's a news account with 50,000. I mean,
you did your best.
I was not shocked to say the least. So, but anyways,
exactly.
just to be in that top 36 or whatever it was an honor. I can say that to everybody. But again, please sub if you haven't. Please like YouTube, Spotify, Podbean, iTunes. What else do we got? Google Podcasts. We got them all, I think. So you'll be able to find links, obviously, in the description. And Twitter will be the first place to find out. And as always, guys, thank you for all the support. And fino alla fine, Forza Juventus. Ciao, ciao.